In the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, where a steel-grey sea stretches to the horizon, 4 black dorsal fins slice through the waves in perfect formation. Below, a pod of killer whales is creating what scientists call a wave wash, a surge of water synchronized by 4 multi-ton bodies, aimed squarely at an ice floe where a lone seal rests. The ice floe tilts, the seal slides, and the hunt is over before the seal can comprehend what has happened. This is not raw instinct. This is strategy taught from mother to calf, from one generation to the next. And this is the Pacific. The planet's largest ocean, 63.8 million square miles, over a third of the Earth's surface, is covered by a single body of water that plunges to 36,000 feet in the Mariana Trench. "25,000 islands lie scattered across the waters that Ferdinand Magellan once named Peaceful in the year 1520. But beneath that placid surface, 90% of the world's earthquakes rumble along the Ring of Fire. Peaceful is merely a name, not its nature. For beneath these sapphire waters, 171 million cubic miles of water, nearly half the planet's total oceanic volume, cradles a diversity of life that continues to astound us. The Coral Triangle in the Western Pacific, home to the highest marine biodiversity on Earth, is proof that this ocean is not only the largest, but also the richest. Welcome to GaiaDocs, where we explore the most extraordinary stories of the natural world. In this immense liquid realm, it is not the strongest that survives, nor the fastest, nor the largest. It is the most intelligent. But intelligence in the ocean is unlike anything we have ever defined. It takes the form of venom, of bioluminescent light, of immortality, and of migrations 100 million years old. In the planet's widest ocean, what form of intelligence determines survival? The answer begins with a creature that even the great white shark gives a wide berth, the killer whale. And no predator on the planet possesses more sophisticated tactics. Killer whales, despite their formidable name, are in fact the largest members of the dolphin family. And what makes them the ocean's most formidable predators is not their size, but their intellect. They live in family groups called pods, matriarchal clans led by the oldest female, where knowledge is passed from grandmother to mother, from mother to calf. This is a matriarchal society, one of the most complex social structures in the ocean. In the northeastern Pacific, researchers have identified 3 distinct ecotypes of killer whales. The residents, who specialize in fish, the transients, who hunt marine mammals, and the offshores, who prey on sharks. Three types, 3 strategies, and each pod possesses its own dialect, a set of calls that no other pod can precisely replicate. In other words, each killer whale family speaks a different language. When they hunt, their tactics would astonish a military strategist. Using a technique called carousel feeding, the orcas encircle a school of herring, herding them into a tightly packed, swirling ball. Then, one by one, each orca slaps the ball of fish with its tail, stunning dozens of prey at once before circling back to feed. None eats out of turn. None breaks formation. Their top speed, 34 miles per hour, but speed is not their principal weapon. It is their coordination that is truly remarkable. Killer whales teach their young to hunt. Mothers have been observed intentionally releasing injured prey for their calves to practice on a behavior scientists call cultural transmission. This is not inherited instinct. This is education. Killer whales have no natural predators. They sit at the apex of the ocean's food chain, not through brute force, but through a collective intelligence honed over millions of years. Orcas prove one thing. In the ocean, the sharpest mind is a shared one. And what makes it all the more impressive, killer whales are the only marine species in which scientists have recorded cultural diversity among populations. Orcas in Norway hunt herring using carousel feeding. Orcas in Argentina beach themselves to catch sea lions. Orcas in New Zealand specialize in hunting stingrays. The same species, entirely different tactics. Much like human civilizations developing different technologies, yet all remain human. But the ocean does not follow a single path. Not all intelligence requires a pod. Some predators choose a path of solitude and perfection. Beneath the deep blue surface, A shadow glides in silence. The great white shark, the ocean's most solitary hunter, needs no allies. It does not hunt with cunning. It hunts with perfection. "400 million years of evolution have engineered a flawless ambush machine. From the darkness below, where the light cannot reach, the great white shark looks up and waits. Patience is its first weapon. Speed is its last. When it strikes, it launches from the depths at over 34 miles per hour, sometimes clearing the water entirely in a powerful surge that researchers call breaching. Off the coast of South Africa, this breaching behavior has been filmed hundreds of times. Each launch is a precise calculation, the angle of attack, the speed of approach, the moment of impact, all executed in less than a second. But its true secret weapon lies in its snout. Hundreds of ampullae of Lorenzini electroreceptors allow the great white to detect the faint electrical field generated by the heartbeat of its prey. Even if the prey hides beneath the sand, its heart still beats, and the great white shark hears every pulse. Its jaws are lined with multiple rows of serrated, triangular teeth, each one continuously replaced throughout its life. In a single lifetime, a shark may grow and shed more than 20,000 teeth, a machine that nature endlessly maintains. And its role in the ecosystem is irreplaceable. As a population controller culling the weak and the sick, the great white shark keeps prey species at their healthiest. Remove it from the ocean, and the entire food chain would lose its balance. Its conservation status: vulnerable, according to the IUCN. The ocean's most perfect predator is now threatened not by a natural rival, but by us. The great white does not strategize in groups like the orca. It has no need. 400 million years have written every tactic into its DNA. Its intelligence is instinct, a form of brilliance that requires no thought, only action. The orca hunts with collective cunning. The great white hunts with solitary perfection, but the ocean conceals forms of intelligence far stranger still. And next, we meet creatures that prove a large brain is not the only prerequisite for brilliance. The hammerhead shark. Its strangely flattened head, which science calls a cephalofoil, is no design flaw. It is a biological radar. Spread across the entire surface of the cephalofoil, thousands of ampullae of Lorenzini turn this head into a 360-degree scanning device. Eyes placed at the extreme ends grant them superior stereoscopic vision, detecting prey even when buried beneath the sand. Of the 9 species of hammerhead, the great hammerhead is on the verge of extinction, listed as critically endangered by the IUCN. By day, hundreds gather in formation, a sight few divers ever forget. By night, they disperse to hunt alone, preying mainly on stingrays. The hammerhead's intelligence is sensory, a way of perceiving the world with faculties that humans do not possess. But at the other end of the spectrum, a 40-foot giant glides through the water, attacking nothing at all. The whale shark, the largest fish on the planet, often reaching 40 feet, with a record of 61.7 feet, is a filter feeder. Its mouth opens as wide as a gate, but only to draw in plankton, small fish, and fish eggs. No fangs, no venom, no weapons of any kind. Alongside it, remoras cling fast with suction discs on their heads, feasting on scraps and finding protection in their host's immense size. Even the whale shark's passage through the ocean creates a mobile ecosystem. Each whale shark bears a unique pattern of white spots, as individual as a human fingerprint. Scientists use these very patterns to identify individuals. But the whale shark population has declined by more than 50% in the last 75 years. Status: endangered, according to the IUCN. The ocean's gentlest giant is slowly disappearing not because it is weak, but because the world around it is changing too fast. The whale shark's intelligence is renunciation to give up weapons, to abandon violence, and still endure for millions of years. But deeper, in the darkness, an 8-armed creature waits, and it may put them all to shame. "500 million neurons. That is the number of nerve cells in an octopus's body, more than some mammals possess. But what is truly strange is that 2/3 of those neurons are not in its brain. They are in its 8 arms. Each of an octopus's arms acts as a miniature brain capable of making its own decisions, reacting on its own, even tasting and feeling the environment without waiting for commands from the central brain. If the orca is a collective genius, the octopus is a distributed one, an intelligence with no center, spread throughout its entire body. And their ability to camouflage defies imagination. Millions of pigment cells, chromatophores, cover their skin, allowing an octopus to change its color, pattern, and even texture in less than a quarter of a second. One moment, it looks like a piece of coral. The next, it becomes sand, then mud, then it vanishes completely. The mimic octopus takes this art to its zenith. It can imitate the shape, movement, and behavior of more than 15 different species, from stingrays to lionfish, from jellyfish to sea snakes. This is no simple defensive reflex. This is a performance, a drama of survival that changes with every scene. The octopus is also one of the very few invertebrates known to use tools. In Indonesia, researchers filmed an octopus collecting 2 halves of a coconut shell, carrying them as it moved, and then assembling them into a shelter when needed. An invertebrate that plans for the future. Their blood is blue because it uses copper-based hemocyanin instead of the iron-based hemoglobin found in humans. Three hearts pump this blue blood. 2 branchial hearts move blood through the gills, while a systemic heart circulates it to the rest of the body. When threatened, an octopus releases a cloud of ink, a dense, dark plume that not only obscures its enemy's vision but also temporarily deadens their sense of smell. It can squeeze through any opening larger than its beak, the only hard part of its boneless body. A 20-pound octopus can slip through a hole the size of a quarter. An intelligence of transformation, a distributed intelligence, an intelligence with no backbone in both the literal and figurative sense. But perhaps the most moving thing about the octopus is not its intelligence, it is its sacrifice. A mother octopus lays her eggs in a dark den and guards them for weeks, one species, for as long as 4.5 years. During this entire time, she does not eat. She fans the water constantly to keep the eggs oxygenated. She drives away all intruders. And when the young hatch, the mother is utterly spent. She dies right beside the next generation she will never see grow. Each young octopus swims into the ocean alone, carrying the legacy of a mother who traded her life for their existence. The intelligence of the octopus lies not just in its arms or its chromatophores. It lies in the instinct of sacrifice, the most ancient form of intelligence that evolution has ever produced. You can trap an octopus in a sealed jar. It will open the lid from the inside. Experiments have shown that octopuses can solve problems, remember solutions, and even recognize individual human faces. A creature that lives no more than 2 years yet in that brief time, it displays an intelligence that many species living for decades cannot match. The octopus deceives its enemies with form, but deeper in the ocean, there is a creature that deceives time itself. And it does so without a single brain cell. No brain, no heart, no blood. 95% of its body is water. And they have existed for over 500 million years, longer than the dinosaurs, longer than fish, longer than insects. Jellyfish. Seemingly the simplest creature in the ocean, yet one of evolution's greatest successes. In the dark canopy of the deep ocean, some jellyfish species glow. Bioluminescence, living light, turns them into floating lanterns in the eternal darkness, luring prey or warning off predators. The tentacles of a lion's mane jellyfish can be over 100 feet long, longer than a blue whale, the largest animal ever to have lived. Each tentacle contains millions of cnidocytes, stinging cells that fire faster than a speeding bullet. No brain to calculate, no eyes to aim, yet their success rate in capturing prey is astonishing. Jellyfish do not think, they do not plan, but 500 million years of evolution have written every necessary response into every cell. A design so simple it is perfect, and so perfect it is not needed to change for 500 million years. And then there is Turritopsis dorni, the species that science calls the immortal jellyfish. When injured, stressed, or old, Turritopsis dorni does not die. It reverses its life cycle, transforming from an adult back to a larval polyp, and starting its life all over again. This process is called transdifferentiation. Adult cells revert to stem cells, then regrow into a complete new body. It is not eternal youth, it is aging, and then returning to youth, a cycle that could, in theory, repeat endlessly. No brain, no heart, but it has defeated death. If intelligence is measured by the ability to endure, then the jellyfish, the simplest creature in our story, possesses the ultimate form of wisdom, one that evolution took 500 million years to craft. Immortality requires no brain, only enough time for nature to find the answer. That is the most profound lesson the Pacific Ocean offers us. Intelligence has a million forms, and sometimes the simplest is the most powerful. Which form of intelligence do you find most impressive? The orca's strategy, the octopus's transformation, or the jellyfish's immortality? Let GaiaDocs know in the comments below. From the immortal, we now turn to creatures that choose the opposite path, to live short but deadly lives. Because in the Pacific Ocean, venom is also a form of intelligence. The banded sea krait. Its venom is more potent than that of most terrestrial cobras, enough to kill a human adult in a matter of hours. But here lies a paradox. The banded sea krait almost never bites. Its temperament is so placid that many divers swim right alongside it without being threatened. Its venom is an ultimate weapon, but one deployed only when absolutely necessary. At night, the sea krait weaves through coral crevices, hunting small fish with a surgically precise bite. Its lungs are so efficient, they allow it to dive for long periods before returning to the surface to breathe or to land to rest, digest, and shed its skin. The banded sea krait is a bridge between two worlds, land and ocean, and its venom is its passport to both. The intelligence here is chemical warfare, to possess devastating power, but to know when not to use it. But not all venomous creatures are so restrained. The lionfish, with 18 venomous spines distributed across its 13 dorsal, 2 pelvic, and 3 anal fins, has no need for restraint. Because in the Caribbean waters it invaded in 1985, no natural predators exist to keep it in check. The lionfish flares its wide pectoral fins like a fan, corners small fish, and swallows them whole. A female can lay between 12,000 and 15,000 eggs every 4 days. It consumes over 50 species of native fish. A perfect invader, captivating, astonishingly fecund, and unstoppable. The intelligence of the lionfish is one of conquest, but also a warning. When one form of intelligence invades beyond its natural limits, the ecosystem pays the price. Venom, immortality, camouflage. These are the intelligences of the individual. The ocean has shown us how single organisms can possess strategies beyond imagination. But the ocean conceals another form of intelligence, the intelligence of silence, of those who make themselves into nothing. The leafy Seadragon. To look at it, you would think it was a piece of seaweed drifting in the current, and that is precisely what it wants you to think. The leaf-like appendages covering its body are not for swimming, but for disappearing. The leafy Seadragon is a master of camouflage in the waters of southern Australia, where it blends into the kelp forests with such perfection as to be invisible. It has no teeth, no stomach. Its food, mainly mysid shrimp, is sucked through its pipe-like snout and passes directly through its short digestive tract. And in this species, it is the male who carries the eggs, up to 250 of them, attached to the underside of his tail for 8 weeks until tiny, miniature versions of himself hatch and swim off into the ocean. Its conservation status? Recently upgraded from near threatened to endangered by the IUCN. A dragon with no scales, No fangs, no weapons, only the art of remaining unseen is slowly vanishing. The Leafy Seadragon's intelligence is invisibility, a form of brilliance that does not boast or attack, but simply disappears. Not far from where the Leafy Seadragon hides, a close relative drifts, but it does so vertically. The Seahorse, the only fish on the planet that swims upright, using its prehensile tail to cling to coral or seagrass to avoid being swept away. They change color to blend in with their surroundings. They have no stomach. Food passes through their bodies so quickly, they must eat almost constantly. The courtship dance of the Seahorse can last for days. The pair intertwines their tails, changes color in synchrony, and moves as one through the seagrass meadows. And like the Leafy Seadragon, it is the male who becomes pregnant. He receives the eggs from the female into a brood pouch on his abdomen, then nurtures them until hundreds of young are ready to be born. Of the roughly 46 known species of seahorse, many are threatened by habitat loss and the trade for traditional medicine. Each year, tens of millions of seahorses are harvested creatures whose only strength is their patience. The intelligence of the seahorse is patience, and a reversal of roles that nature has conservatively held for hundreds of millions of years. The Leafy Seadragon and the seahorse, an intelligence of silence. Creatures that need no roar, no venom, no speed. They need only to vanish or to wait, and the ocean lets them be. But venom, camouflage, immortality, transformation, these are all the intelligences of the individual. Each organism, on its own, has found a way to survive in the planet's widest ocean. The question now is, what happens when millions of creatures with no individual intelligence merge into one? When none is strong enough to survive alone, but a million together become something no predator can entirely destroy? Collective intelligence, the most powerful and paradoxical intelligence in the ocean, lies ahead. And it begins with the smallest fish in our story. A single sardine, less than 8 inches long, under half a pound, no fangs, no venom, no armor. Alone, it is among the most vulnerable creatures in the ocean. But 1 billion sardines? That is a force no predator can ignore. Sardines move in shoals, schools that can number in the billions, stretching for miles across the water. There is no leader, no central brain in command. No single fish gives orders. So, how do 1 billion fish move as a single entity? The answer lies in the lateral line, a sensory organ running along both sides of the body, allowing each sardine to feel the movement and water pressure of its neighbors. Each fish reacts only to its 3 closest companions. But when a billion fish follow that simple rule, the result is a massive superorganism that moves with flawless coordination. When attacked, the shoal forms a bait ball, a swirling, dense sphere where each fish constantly changes position, making it impossible for a predator to target any single individual. The Sardine Run off the coast of South Africa is one of the planet's greatest biological events. Billions of sardines migrate along the coast, forming a silver ribbon tens of miles long. And every predator in the ocean knows it. The sardine is the central link in the marine food chain. Without sardines, whales have no food, dolphins have no prey, sharks have no energy source. The entire oceanic pyramid would collapse. The ocean poses a question. Between individual and collective intelligence, which is the ultimate solution? Sardines demonstrate the power of numbers, but one species goes further. They don't just move together, they know each other. And they know themselves. Dolphins. Among the roughly 40 species of oceanic dolphins, the bottlenose is perhaps the most studied, and the more we study them, the more we are astounded. Each dolphin possesses a signature whistle, a unique, characteristic sound it develops in infancy. This is no random call. It is a name. When one dolphin calls another by name, the one being called will respond. When a mother is separated from her pod, she broadcasts her name so her calf can find her. In the entire animal kingdom, besides humans, almost no other species is known to have such a system of individual naming. Place a mirror in front of a dolphin, and it will turn, inspect marks on its body, and even open its mouth to look inside. This is the mirror self-recognition test, a benchmark of self-awareness that only a few species pass: humans, great apes, corvids, elephants, and dolphins. They know who they are. A dolphin's echolocation system allows it to see with sound-emitting ultrasonic clicks and analyzing the echoes to determine the location, size, speed, and even internal structure of an object. A dolphin can distinguish between two metal balls that differ by just a few millimeters in complete darkness. In Shark Bay, Australia, a group of female dolphins has developed the habit of wearing sponges on their snouts while foraging on the sandy bottom, protecting their beaks from being scraped by coral and rock. This behavior has been passed down from mother to daughter for generations. Tool use, cultural transmission, two traits we once thought belonged only to humans. Mother dolphins nurse their young and stay with them for years, teaching them to hunt, to communicate, and the social rules of the pod. They play not just for practice, but seemingly for the sheer joy of it. They ride waves, toss seaweed, and chase each other through kelp forests. They cooperate in hunts, share food, and protect injured members of their pod. When a dolphin weakens, the pod will lift it to the surface to breathe. Their speed, 20 miles per hour, sustained. But speed is not the most remarkable thing about dolphins. The most remarkable thing is this. Dolphins are not just intelligent. They are aware of their intelligence. They are a bridge between the instinctual wisdom of the ocean and the self-awareness that we, as humans, once believed was our exclusive privilege. The intelligence of the dolphin is emotion and self-awareness, the form of intelligence closest to our own that the ocean has ever produced. But the story is not over, because the most ancient intelligence, one that has endured for over 100 million years, belongs not to the strongest, the smartest, or the fastest. It belongs to the sea turtle. Seven species of sea turtle, over 100 million years of evolution. They swam the oceans when dinosaurs still walked the earth, and they are still swimming long after the dinosaurs have vanished. The leatherback, the largest sea turtle, can grow to more than 6 feet long and weigh up to 2,000 pounds. It dives deeper than any other reptile, through frigid waters that other turtles cannot endure. They migrate thousands of miles every year from the tropical beaches where they lay their eggs to the cold waters of the North Atlantic where they hunt jellyfish. A pilgrimage with no map, no compass, only an instinct that is over 100 million years old. Its conservation status, critically endangered. But the most extraordinary thing about the sea turtle is not its size or its endurance, it is its memory. A female sea turtle, after decades at sea, returns to the very same beach where she was born to lay her own eggs. Natal homing, the instinct to return to one's birthplace, is a navigational system that science has yet to fully decode. At night, under the moonlight, the mother turtle hauls herself onto the sand, digs a nest, and lays hundreds of eggs. The moonlight and the horizon guide her, and they also guide her hatchlings when they emerge and make their way to the sea. But only 1 in 1,000 hatchlings will survive to adulthood. From the moment they crawl out of their sandy nest, each young turtle faces a life-or-death marathon. Seabirds dive from above. Ghost crabs wait on the sand. And even if they reach the water, larger fish are waiting. It is less than 50 yards, but it is the most perilous journey of their lives. The green turtle endangered. The hawksbill critically endangered. 6 of the 7 sea turtle species are threatened by plastic pollution, loss of nesting habitats, and accidental bycatch. The intelligence of the sea turtle is memory, a migratory instinct encoded over 100 million years. Not the memory of a brain, but the memory of a bloodline carried in the DNA from one generation to the next. And where the sea turtles lay their eggs, where coral reefs stretch beneath the warm Pacific waters, a final form of intelligence is at work, the intelligence of partnership. The coral reef, the city of the undersea world, where thousands of species coexist in a web of relationships of dizzying complexity. The sea urchin, with its 5-toothed jaw structure that Aristotle named Aristotle's lantern, grazes on algae, keeping the reef from being smothered. Nearly 950 species of sea urchins exist worldwide, each playing its role in its ecosystem. The coral reefs of the Pacific, especially the Coral Triangle in the Western Pacific, home to the highest marine biodiversity on Earth, are a testament that all forms of intelligence need one another. But this city is under threat. The whale shark endangered. The great hammerhead critically endangered. Corals are bleaching due to rising ocean temperatures. And the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a floating mass of plastic twice the size of Texas. Here, plastic fragments, smaller than a grain of rice, are entering the food chain, from plankton all the way up to whales. The ocean has given us every form of intelligence needed to understand life. But we are answering with destruction. In the planet's widest ocean, the answer to the question, what form of intelligence determines survival, lies not with the strongest, the largest, or the fastest. The answer lies with those who know how to endure. The orca knows how to cooperate. The great white knows how to wait. The octopus knows how to transform. The jellyfish knows how to be immortal. The sardine knows how to unite. The dolphin knows who it is. The sea turtle knows the way home. Each species an answer, and the Pacific Ocean, is the library that holds them all. Listen to the ocean. You will realize it is listening back. Thank you for joining GaiaDocs. The natural world has countless more stories waiting to be told. If you haven't subscribed, now is the perfect time. We'll see you on the next expedition.